We're going to start with the Philadelphia 76ers and the Washington Wizards. The Wizards were able to eke out a game. Part of that was hack a Simmons down the stretch. He just couldn't hit his free throws, which essentially kept the Washington Wizards in the game. People are mad at Doc Rivers because of the fact that Ben Simmons may have caused them a game, but if you really think of it in the grand scheme of things, they're up 3-1. They basically haven't played a close game until the last night. So what is there much to complain about? Now, if every single game they had was contested 3-3 series, makes sense that Ben Simmons can't free throws. This is like a non-factor. Honestly, this is like a whole lot of hoopla. You can't get mad because he misses free throws down the stretch. We all know who he is. We all know what kind of player he is. This team has been dominating the Washington Wizards so well. And on top of that, Westbrook has been taking so many bad shots. It's just going to even itself out. I mean, I was surprised that the Washington Wizards won the game, but it is what it is. It's not anything to be upset about. I don't know what's the big deal. Like Doc Rivers said, like, you really don't know basketball because they were up 3-0. This hasn't been hurting them in the series at all. Moving on to Brooklyn Nets against the Boston Celtics. The Brooklyn Nets are putting up NBA Live 12-minute quarter numbers on Easy and Pro. Like, I mean, it's ridiculous the amount of points they're scoring. The big three is contributing and they're gelling. Like I said before, it's unfair because the Brooklyn Nets are the first team in playoff history to get like a nice little tune-up series to get ready for the real series. This is because, as you all remember, they weren't able to play together during the regular season a whole lot of games. So a 7-game series where they're able to play and figure each other out, which is an easy 7-game series for them. No Jaylen Brown and stuff like that. And there's still a little competition. It works well for them. Now, Kyrie getting bottle service, water bottle thrown at him. When he stepped on the Celtics logo and all that stuff, that was a bit of competition. But it hits a little different because Kyrie was a Celtic at one point. So basically, it's just like he's trying to say that he has no love for the organization, which might have rubbed some people the wrong way. But that doesn't warrant a bottle being thrown at you. Now, for the bottle thrower, this is how I see everything like this. They should really make it like this. And NBA should work together and coincide with everything. Fans that do things like this, of course, they be charged criminally. They should be exposed on the internet or whatever the case is. And also, they should have a lifetime ban at all arenas. Not just that arena, all arenas. And here's the thing. If they're able to, this is more diabolical right here. If they want somebody else to buy their tickets and they come in with a hat or whatever the case is or whatever, and if they get caught still in the arena and they were supposed to be kicked out or whatever the case is, or fake ID or somebody else bought the ticket, whoever bought that ticket for them should be banned for life as well. And at all arenas. The punishment has to be more heavy-handed so it can deter fans from doing things like this. Saying racial slurs, throwing water bottles at people. You know, you can say you suck. You can say a lot of things. You can say suck. You can boo them. You can be like, you garbage, you're trash, stuff like that. But throwing a water bottle at somebody or spitting at somebody, like, those things are inhumane. Like, you're treating them like they're a dog or a commodity. So therefore, we should treat you like a dog and a commodity. You should not be allowed to go to any arenas. You should not be allowed to even step foot ever anywhere else in an arena. That's for Pearl Jam, whatever the kind of music that kids listen to, whatever band it was, it should be that severe. You can't throw bottles at people and think it's going to be fine. You think it's going to be fine. And another thing is that you hurt the fan experience from everybody else. This is why a lot of guys don't talk to fans, because fans get so ignorant. And like, you might have a kid, like a 7-year-old kid, an 8-year-old kid. He might just want somebody to sign his basketball. And the players are like walking by real quick because they don't want to deal with the ignorance that they've been getting half the time. So the punishment has to be way more severe. Like, if all the owners need to come together and drop a strict protocol in terms of harassing the players. Like, on the court stuff, basketball stuff, of course. But doing things like throwing bottles, spitting on people. And it's crazy because it's the people with the most money that's doing this crap. Like, it's, you know what I'm saying? Like, the people that are closest to the game, closest to the seats, they're the most ignorant. When you're looking at all these people up in the stands, they got their family, their kids, they got their little signs. They're not doing anything like that. So it's really crazy. And it just shows you, like, the great divide. Miami Heat, Milwaukee Bucks. Clean sweep. And you know why? Because last year the Bucks took the Miami Heat lightly, and Giannis came into it like, look, I'm not going to be shooting a whole lot of threes. I'm not going to let y'all off the hook. I'm going to go to the basket. They have Drew Holiday, which is another ball handler, another decision maker. That team, Milwaukee, is a different team. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have like the #1 seed or whatever the case is, but they're a different team, and that shows in how they approached everything, how they blew out the Heat. I mean, it was a no Vaseline kind of situation, the way that they was giving it to them. And that shows growth and maturity, and also that shows that they are ready to make a playoff push for the NBA Finals. The New York Knicks and the Atlanta Hawks, this is very disappointing. It hurts. But Trae Young is outplaying Julius Randle. Julius Randle, his problem is this. Most improved player, feels good about himself, he's enjoying the hype, he's enjoying the support from New York fans. He's forgetting that New York fans are very, 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 let's say, meticulous about what you do and how you do it. So they're okay. Like, we made it to the playoffs. They're not gonna give them a pass for the series. And once they lose, because they're down 3-1. Once they lose the series, they're gonna give it to them. And that's the part he forgot. He got the New York fans where it was, we're happy to be here. Now what's going to happen is he's going to have the New York fans that say, we're supposed to be here all the time. What are you doing? Like, what is this? He needs to get in the post, and he needs to dominate whoever is guarding him. He can't be at the top of the key. I watched the New York games. A lot of the guys at the top of the key, just saying, a lot of these guys, they're all trying to shoot threes and stuff like that. They need to get a lot of inside game, run some horns. They need to run a lot of set plays that get Julius Randle going downhill already on the box, so they get guys in foul trouble. Because right now, 3-point shooting wise, the Knicks can't compete. And that's like the evolution of the game. Teams are shooting the three a lot more. And if you can't shoot the three, and if your star player can't get to the line and eat, you're not going to win that series. The Knicks, they should be like, what? If there's an award for most improved team, they should have it. Most improved player, they have it. But in terms of the playoffs, they're just not there yet. And they got out of character and stopped focusing on the game plan. And that's why they're down 3-1. Lakers, Suns. Lakers are in a world of hurt. And I'm going to say this because Anthony Davis can't seem to put a string of 2 to 3 months of being just healthy. There's always something wrong with him, an ankle, Achilles. Now it's his groin. And while we think LeBron, we know LeBron can pull out Herculean efforts, it's the other guys that we just don't know are going to step up. Chris Paul, when healthy, and Devin Booker, they cannot play LeBron James. Because, I mean, it's two of them. It's two of them that can be productive. So what's going to happen, especially with, like, Game 5 and stuff like that, LeBron's going to have to get somebody in foul trouble. They're going to have to get, or Drummond's going to have to get somebody in foul trouble. Because the Lakers are just not shooting the three very well. And on top of that, though, there's a mental component there where LeBron's just thinking to himself, like, damn, I just can't have Anthony Davis. I can't have a healthy guy with me. Because right now, they look like the Cavs. They look like the Cavs in 2018. Or like 2000, not 2009, that's not that bad, but like they just look out of sorts. And that's kind of like the LeBron effect. Everybody relying on LeBron so much, he just doesn't have that running mate to go with him. And that's what hurts. Dallas Mavericks and Los Angeles Clippers. Now that series took a big turn, and I think I knew, and this is funny because me and my friend, we always talk about this. We're like, some of these coaches, they're not really coaches, they're like motivational speakers. And I think Ty Lue gave the Clippers some great deal of motivation, especially with like saying that, we were at home and we had a lot of pressure on us. So the Mavs came to our house. They didn't have any pressure to shoot, anything like that. Let's see how the series turns when we go to Dallas. And that's exactly what happened. And that resonated in the minds of Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. They flipped the switch. And Paul George has been decent, solid for his standards. He hasn't been exceptionally great yet. But Kawhi Leonard has been flat out great and awesome. And that is amazing within itself. I mean, he really stepped up. Ty Lue stepped up in terms of throwing a lot of defenders at Luka. Of course, here's the thing with Luka. You playing good, you playing great. have a good time and everything, and say guys are too small. But when you're losing, you can't be grabbing at your neck and all that stuff. I mean, he might be injured or whatever, but like I said, you can't do that because part of the game he was playing great. Part of the game they were up 19, and then they blow that, and now it's a tie series, and unfortunately, now that the Dallas Mavericks have thrown everything at them, except for a great game from Kristaps Porzingis, which I'm still waiting from. They've thrown everything at the Clippers. The Clippers are like, we got this. And I think the Clippers are going to basically win this series. I thought the series was over, but Ty Lue finally got to the mentality of these guys. He's like, he's a whisperer for certain players, especially their confidence. You saw this in the 2016 finals. They were down 3-1, and he said, guys, this is the first of 4. We gotta get on the plane anyway. And that worked out tremendously. Utah Jazz versus the Memphis Grizzlies. This is a clear-cut indication. See, this is what it is. You have different levels to playing, right? I'm happy to be here. We got a lot of energy. You see it from Dylan Brooks. You see it from John Morant. They're happy. They're grinding out and everything. But there's a difference between playing and executing. Phil Jackson always harped on that. You playing a team, you'll see the difference between two teams once it comes down to execution. We all know what you're gonna do. We all know what you want to do. Can you execute it? Utah Jazz have executed down the stretch and throughout these games. And the only reason they really lost game 1 was game 1. If your star player Donovan Mitchell doesn't play, how do you expect to win that game? And defensively, they're great. Offensively, they're getting everything they didn't. And that's the thing. It's like they're executing at a high level, and they're getting all the mismatches they want. They're getting downhill. Mike Conley been balling out of his mind. They're getting contributions, and everything is like a precision thing. The sixth man of the year, he's getting into it. When you look at the Memphis Grizzlies, there's a lot of guys playing hard. They're not executing, and that's the difference. That's the difference between championship play and just like regular season playoff play. Some guys are playing, some guys are trying to execute something. Portland Trailblazers and the Denver Nuggets. Portland really disappointed me by going down 2-1. They made up for it big time by blowing them out in the game 4. The thing with Portland, and one day they'll understand this, I think it's going to be at the expense of Terry Stotts. They're going to need to understand this. You have to play some defense. You have to execute some defense. You have to get stops. And that's the thing. Like, they just don't get stops consistently. And they keep teams in the game or they get blown out. Because Jokic is going to get his. But you're going to have to now figure out a way to slow everybody else up. Or try to basically make somebody else other than Jokic beat you and double down on them and don't let them get anything. But it can't be both ways. It can't be Jokic just going off and you're letting them get whatever he wants in the paint. That doesn't work. So Portland just has to make a commitment to defense. Until then, there is going to be a trouble for them. And this might be a 7-game series. This in no way should be tied 2-2. But because of the lack of defensive effort and the focus so much on Dame to score and give you everything you need, that's not fair to him. Other guys are going to have to step up consistently. Small things, take charges, a lot more defensive rebounds, get a hard gang rebound on the glass. These are little things that can take pressure off of Dame and make the team elevate a lot better. Like, this shouldn't be 2-2, but it is. And that just goes to show you how much of an MVP caliber player Jokic is. Without Jamal Murray, his co-star, which you could honestly, Jokic, you could say he's the best player on the team, but really, the clutchest guy on the team, the guy that really makes a lot of other things work on the team is Jamal Murray. For him not to be there and the series is tied 2-2, it means a whole lot. Who's your show? Who Speaks Hooper? Like, comment, subscribe.